Rich McKay, the chair of the competition committee, a board that you're a member of, has said that there definitely won't be replay review of pass interference this year. Do we know, or do we have an idea of what will take its place? Will there be anything to prevent another Rams-Saints NFC Championship game outcome, or will it just be rely on the referee and the rest of the officiating crew to get it right when there is or isn't pass interference?
There's options that we're going to be reviewing. I don't think because of this unprecedented situation where we're not able to meet and spend the time the competition usually does on all the unintended consequences that come with solutions. We really able a lot of things this year because what we don't want to do is make a decision that does have unintended consequences that aren't in the best interest of the game. We know we got a great game. Let's don't do anything, that hadn't been well thought out.
Stephen Jones, not just a Cowboys executive, but a member of the competition committee, Chris, the group that will be devising something for the owners to consider as the alternative to replay review for pass interference. It's dead. It's gone. It's not even going to be presented as an option. It was a 1 year and 1 year only experiment, but they need something. Otherwise, we are setting the stage for another Rams-Saints debacle where there is an egregious instance of pass interference that happens in plain sight that is missed by the 7 folks in black and white stripes who are charged with the task of catching it when it happens. Now, Stephen Jones said they have options. Now, and the biggest option is Sky Judge, but I've never gotten the impression they want to spend the scratch necessary for Sky Judge. Or they also and also it's not just a matter of being extremely careful with money. It's a matter of being sure that your 17 Sky Judges all will have the same standard for when to intervene, when to supersede, when to make opinions known to the officials on the field that something was missed based on what we see in the camera angles that are broadcast to the same TV screens that the rest of us have at home. So there's no easy solution here. They need to avoid what happened in the Rams-Saints game. And I don't know what the most efficient solution would be because, as Stephen Jones said, all of these possibilities have unintended consequences, and we saw the unintended consequences last year of having replay review available for pass interference, Chris.
Yeah, well, all right. So first off, let's not forget, this was a one-time thing we saw in 53 years in the NFL. It's not we can't really come up with too many, whoa, that was totally egregious. How could you do that type moments? How could you miss that in a big moment of the football game? No, this was wrong. I get it. I will say, I'm glad the pass interference replay is dead. Thank God. It's a disaster. It's horrible for the sport. It was a bad look. First off, it messed up the football games as a viewer. Just the way it was slowed down, you didn't know what to expect. Wait, that looks like pass interference. That doesn't. We could never agree watching the games at NBC. It didn't seem like the NFL ever knew what the hell to call either at times. It was a little inconsistent that way. You had coaches wasting challenges because, oh, hey, I'm a coach and I've been a head coach for 20 years. That looks like pass interference. I'm going to throw the challenge flag. What? It's not. Oh, now you've lost a challenge flag and a timeout, and that's going to hurt your ability to manage the football game from that standpoint. So I think there was more negatives than positives. But with saying all that, Mike, I do agree with you. They got to have something. Whether that's, again, like the big red button back at 3:45 that they can hit on when there's a danger, or, can you watch all those moments and really react to them real time if there's all these games going on? And that's where I think your Sky Judge comes into play to where, like, okay, Al Riveron's trying to watch everything. If one of these egregious plays happened and maybe he's in the middle of a review somewhere else, Sky Judge can, hey, red alert, Al Riveron, red alert. We have a play. We might need you to get in and tell the refs to drop a flag or do whatever. There does need to be something like that, I do think, to protect the NFL here.
I think the concept is very simple, and I have said this time and again, the NFL's biggest problem from an officiating standpoint is the gap that exists between what 7 people who are on the field amid the gladiators with no protection of any kind, where the primary goal is to not get trampled, and the naked eye does not process the information the way that it could or should, because these guys can move quickly. And when you're trying not to get trampled, it makes it even harder to spot exactly what it is you're seeing. If you have someone in that booth who is the fan, see, bridging the gap between what those 7 people see in an imperfect setting versus what we see at home in an ideal setting. 4K, HD, supersized, slow-mo, we all see it. The gap between what we all see and what they see on the field gets bridged by getting, Chris, and this is very simple, I think. You pay the money for the salary, but all these guys who are going off to work for networks, like Terry McCullough,
Mike Pereira,
Mike Pereira, and Dean Blandino doesn't count because he was never on field. Who's the guy? Gene Steratore. All the guys who leave to go get a better payday and lesser accountability with the networks, that can be the guy. Ed Hockley, right? You get to a point where you need to retire because you're physically unable to keep up with the gladiators anymore. 65, 70, whatever the case may be. But you still have a sharp brain and you still have the ability to look at a TV and see what you see. Those folks who know the rule books inside and out, they're the surrogates for the fans who are sitting at home saying, what the hell are these officials thinking? That's the way to do it. And there should be 17 of those folks available in any given year who they can pay to fill this job. It's almost like the ombudsman for the fan. The person who is there, who knows the rule book, who sees what the fan sees. That's how you meld the two together and get to a point where we avoid these outcomes. It's that simple, Chris. It won't be cheap, but it is that simple.
Well, maybe it's something we just have for playoff football. Maybe that's really where it should count, because to me, that's where one of the issues lies within our officiating in the NFL anyways. You know, in playoff football, we have seen a very consistent thing happen, I want to say, for the last 6 or 7 years, where in playoff football, the games are just not as officiated as much as the regular season games. Now, I understand, you know, we have the best of the best referees in the playoffs and the teams are better and all of that. But you know, I'm a guy like, you know, we make fun of all the time. I'm Ron Jaworski and I watch the film. All right. I don't care if the teams are better or not. When I turn on the film in playoff football, there is a lot more latitude given towards secondary and pass interference and holding and just the physical nature of the sport. Like Jadeveon Clowney's hit to Carson Wentz. If that's week 7 in the regular season, I think it gets called. I think in the playoffs, referees are afraid to get involved in those type of situations, and they back off. I think that's what happened in the Saints-Rams game. I think that's really all it was. You see the referee in the back, first off, grabbing his flag. I think he's going, wait, do I really want to determine who goes to the Super Bowl here with me throwing my flag? Also, I think to the added fact where he goes, he probably was shocked because he was like, wait, Nicole Roby-Coleman should have caught that and ran for a pick 6 if he just looked up. It was such a weird play altogether. But I don't know. I don't know if you can you pull it off at all regular season, all those weeks? Is it just a playoff thing? But they need to have somebody there to watch over it a little bit.
I think you have to do it in the regular season because you don't want the folks who serve as sky judge to be starting from scratch in the wild card round. And you want to you look and to make it even better for the playoffs, you have people do it all season long, and then you grade them, you judge the sky judges, and the best of the best end up getting the playoff assignments just like they do with the officials. So I think it needs to be every game, preseason, regular season, so it's perfected by the time we get to the postseason and we know who the best.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.